Hello guys, and welcome to this quick narrative to the whole process of the tutorial. So first of all, we need to have a texture in XYZ assets. That's a pretty common thing for highly detailed characters. And then here, what I did is to morph the UV right into a model, and then we just export that flat model. That indeed will actually export a flat model, and we also load it into Maya, and you can see that's how it looks like. Because this is from the UV, all the vertices are not connected, and also Zbrush flips the UV, so I flip it again here in Maya. You have to merge all the vertices and all the edges in the UV editor to get them all working, and you also load in the original model. All right, and then what we do is to create a plane that's having the same aspect ratio of the texture, and just scale the plane here and just put it exactly where the face is, and then we just load the image, right? And then we start to tweak the flat model and just try to match it with the body, with the texture as much as possible. This is not a very easy step. You have to go through many iterations and tweaks to get it matched properly. So be patient, right? And make broader adjustment first, and then you start doing smaller tweaks. And also because the texture is not exactly symmetrical, once you have done with one side, you have to turn off symmetry and just do the other side. Yeah, you can see here I'm carefully matching the ear, right? But still, this still feels a bit more easier than trying to rotate the different angles of the model and project it in 3D, and that's why I came up with this workflow. Okay, now you can see I'm doing the other side without the symmetry. Be careful about the eyelashes, because if you project them on the model, then you have to clean them up, which is actually a big issue with those scan data. The eyelashes is really blocking you from capturing data from the lower eyelid, so we'll have to use other alphas to fix that. But nonetheless, right, that's one of the this is what we can do right for now, right, to just get the majority of the data projected. Here, what I'm using is the transfer map to transfer the map from the plane to our flat model, right? And then we can load that texture transfer over to the actual head. You can see there's a bunch of issues there, right? The eyebrow is not in the right place, and there's a bunch of other places around the eyebrow, the nose, right? They're stretched and not in the right place, so we need to go back and forth and keep tweaking the model and redo projection until we're happy with the projected result. And I do encourage you to use the texture map, the color map, because that's going to give you very clear information. It's going to be better than the displacement map, right? So a few more tweaks, and then once you're happy with it, right, you can go ahead and start projecting the displacement map as well. I believe, yeah, just load the displacement map to the plane and then just project it again using transfer map, and we'll have all the maps ready to go. Okay, so this whole process is way more less painful to me compared to doing things in Mari to project those images. Once we have the image, we need to separate the image to displacement map into RGB 3 different channels, because they all represent different sizes of those detail. I'm doing this in Substance Designer, but in my tutorial I'm doing this in Photoshop, but it's the same deal. You just go to those 3 different channels, export them one by one, so that we can load them one by one also in ZBrush afterwards. Now back here to ZBrush, we just store the morph target first, have a layer, and load in one of the maps, and just tweak the values to get a proper intensity and apply it. Do that again for the other 2. So we have 3 layers that contains the 3 channels we exported from the baked displacement map, right? All right, and then we just again tweak the values of those layers, right, to have a good balance. I believe I'm here I'm checking the skin shader so that I can have a good feel of how does it looks like with subsurface scattering, because subsurface scattering oftentimes it reduces the intensity of the detail. So I need to check if that's too weak, right? And then there's a bunch of other things that I'm utilizing from Texture XYZ in this video, because it's not covering the whole face and there is going to be a few stretched areas. So I'm using another more general purpose to like alpha set from Texture XYZ and use those to reproject some of the details I wanted to fix. And also you can use the morph target thing, right, to morph things back. Which means that you have to store the morph target before you apply those details. Don't forget to do that. Right, you can see now what I'm doing is morph some of the parts that's kind of like not looking really nice, right, back to before, and then just use some more alphas to cover those blank areas, so that they can look way better than the original projection, right, like that. So that's some necessary steps I didn't really mention in the tutorial because it's kind of like taking. I only have 16, 18 steps. I cannot really cover a whole lot of things. But those things are something I believe for many artists they do all the time, right? So this is something I assume that you will know how to do that. And then, yeah, some morph target thingy brushes to get the eyelashes back to the original smooth shape, right? And then some more adjustment and projection to the surrounding areas. The side of the nose is the most problematic one. And because this is the one that's sticking out too much and the UV is flat, so you will get a lot of stretching. And this is where you have to reproject with alphas to get a better result. Okay, so this is now without issues, and there's a bunch of different places we have to use alphas to reproject, get a better result. Okay. All right, so this oftentimes takes me quite a long time, but it's an enjoyable process, right? It's not like, hey, oh, I'm just doing repetitive stuff. The clicking and dragging and having all those things covered makes you feel pretty happy with the results. So just spend here as long as you need to get those details projected. All right, I think I'm taking a look at some references I wanted to do, because everyone is different, and it's important that we actually start sculpting some hand-created winkles. But here what I'm doing is I'm actually baking a displacement map. Earlier, let me actually stop this. So earlier, what I'm doing is I'm actually baking the displacement map by clicking on that create displacement map. In my video, I'm actually doing that in the plugin, but they're basically the same thing. We're just getting a displacement map from the layers we have in there, and then we temporarily turn off all those layers, and then we just turn on the displacement map to be like a preview of the displacement map of the details we have before. And that way, when we're sculpting new details, we can smooth out, right? That's a big deal, because if we still have those layers there and we do smooth, this is going to cause those layers to be smoothed. Now, because we're visualizing them in a displacement map, we can do smoothing and everything we want without actually destroying the original data. But having them there to be visible to us will give us a lot of confidence and advantage on sculpting newer details. You can see now how relaxed I am to add new details. You're going to be way faster, and it just feels way better and easier to do stuff with some of the details already laying around. So you can see I'm sculpting in more winkles and stuff to get it looks more unique and to populate necessary details that I don't really get from the scanned data, because those things, right, things that's below the eyelid, because of the eyelashes was actually blocking that area a whole lot, we cannot really get much data from there. So this process is necessary, and it's really helpful, and it's really enjoyable with this workflow because we have all the details in there already. It's just gonna be adding new ones. So it never feels like you cannot get it done. It feels more like you're really working on something that's already good enough on some level, right? And just some more smaller winkles around the eyes, have it to make it look, more detailed. And of course, tweaking and adding more stuff around the eyelid. So again, here you have to stay here for quite some time, and not only that we were tweaking the smaller shapes and adding smaller wrinkles, but also it is necessary to tweak secondary forms like the airbag right below the eyelid, right? All those kind of things. It's not only just adding new details, but tweak their forms. As you can see here, I'm tweaking what's happening on the forehead, and just, to get it to a reasonable basic volume, and then after that I can start adding more details, wrinkles and stuff. So you can see here those are secondary form tweaking, not necessarily doing details. Okay. Yeah, those here, let me just go fast forward because I'm doing a whole lot of things that's not that important, but it's basically adding details, right? See all the wrinkles and stuff, and other wrinkles around the face and the lip. The lip here, I think I did a lot of smaller wrinkles added in, and then break up the symmetry, and did a lot of additional forms that's missing there. So yeah, this process is not just doing skin detailing, but also to refine and emphasize the importance of those secondary forms, because usually they're missing or not strong enough. We have to keep on getting them out, right? And some more smaller wrinkles here and there to add on top of that. All right, cool. That's gonna be the skin detailing process more or less done. And after this, we just have to get all the layers back and turn off that displacement map and do some more further refinement, but that's pretty much it. Another advantage of this workflow is that you can actually get the texture the same way, the color texture the same way, because they can all be projected from the same set of models, right? The planes we did in Maya. So that gives us a huge advantage to match the color with the displacement map 100%. Okay. All right, that'll be it for this entire narrative of the whole tutorial, as a supplementary supporting file. I hope this workflow can help you to either helping you to improve the result or making things easier for you, right? Whatever that is, I hope this can help you to get some improvement. All right, thanks for watching.